Alright, my first video being 22. Alright, UFN 17, I think? Yes. Ultimate Fight Night 17, Lozon versus Stevens, although ironically that will be the third fight on the list because I'm reading the MMA Playground card and it's way out of order. First up, Derek Downey, Nick Gatone. Of course, it's supposed to be Amir Sadala versus Gatone. Again, but again, Amir got hurt, so go figure. I'm going to take Nick Gatone, TKO. He's had a better training camp than Derek Downey. I've seen Derek Downey fight. He's not bad, not good, in my opinion. Hasn't fought any, or I haven't seen him fight anyone that really lets me gauge his skills. Gatone's a decent fighter, although I was picking Amir Sadala to win this fight when he was in it. Matt Veach versus Matt Grice. Matt Veach is a bigger wrestler than Matt Grice. He's probably stronger, probably bigger. Grice, however, puts a pace on you. Probably more technically skilled. That being said, I'm taking Veach by submission in the second round. Being that I think if Terry Adam can submit you with reasonable ease, I think Matt Veach can also do the same. Jeremy Stevens versus J. Loud Lozon. If Jeremy Stevens had a good training camp, I think he can win this fight. I think that he is a decent, he is a good enough wrestler to give Lozon some troubles. His ground game is suspect, but the man has heart and determination and the ability to just ward off submissions by just being badass. See the Rafael Dos Santos fight, or Dos Anjos fight, pardon me. So I'm taking Stevens via TKO in the third round. But if he had a bad training camp, I think Lozon takes it fairly easily. Jake Rosholt versus Dan Miller. Rosholt is a phenomenal wrestler and apparently a very natural striker, although technically he needs a lot of work. Dan Miller is well-rounded in all aspects of the game. I think he will submit Rosholt in the third round. I think Rosholt will look good for the first two rounds. I think he'll be able to take Miller down. I think he'll be able to hold him down. But in the end, I think the superior grappling of Dan Miller will pay off. Matthew Riddle versus Steve Bruno. I'm going to go out on a bit of a limb here and say Matt Riddle. He's coming down to 170. I think he will be a beast there. He's a fairly large 170er. He's got knockout power, as seen in his fight on Tough with Dan Simler. He's got pretty good grappling skills. He completely dominated Dante Rivera and had a pretty good fight against Tim Crater on The Ultimate Fighter. So I'm taking Riddle, but probably by unanimous decision. Steve Bruno's a pretty good fighter. Now that he's not getting hurt finally, we're starting to see that. He did beat Johnny Reese recently, and I think he has a good chance to beat Riddle. But like I said, sometimes you just got to make a little bit of a gamble on your picks. Anthony Rumble Johnson, Luigi Fioravanti. Both guys like to stand and bang. Both guys have knockout power. I think the difference is Fioravanti's probably a lot better on the ground, but he probably won't use it. Anthony Johnson be a knockout in the third round, I think, when Fioravanti starts to get tired. Dennis Stangiak versus Cain Velasquez. Stangiak just being fed to the wolves, really. Cain is probably the biggest up-and-comer in the heavyweight division of the UFC. Aside from, I guess Brock Lesnar's not really a number cover, so I guess it's either him or Shane Carwin. He doesn't have a lot of fights, but the man trades at AKA. I've been singing his praises for a long time, since I saw him fight Roy Nelson and Bodog. He's a phenomenal wrestler with some pretty good striking. Stanchiak, good kickboxer, decent ground game, but just overmatched in this particular match. Gleason Tebow, Rich Clemente. This could go two ways. And the first way is the way I think it will go. Gleason Tebow is a pretty good wrestler and an excellent BJJ practitioner. I think he can take Clemente down. I think he can control Clemente much in the way Gray Maynard did. I think Gray Maynard can control you and fight off your subs. Gleason Tebow probably can do the same. On the feet, I think Clemente is better. I think if Clemente can, impose his will on the feet, maybe even get a takedown, I think he can beat Tebow, but I don't see it happening. I'm taking Gleason Tebow by UD, just because finishing Rich Clemente is something that doesn't happen unless he gasses. And Tebow doesn't put up a great pace or anything, and his conditioning is actually suspect at lightweight. Kurt Pellegrino versus Rob Emerson. Rob Emerson is, of course, coming off of a massive knockout of Manny Gambirian. He has power in his hands, but his striking is not overly technical. He has pretty good takedown defense, as shown by his fight with Keita Nakamura. but not great. But his ground game needs work. I think Pellegrino can take him down. Emerson has never been tapped out by anyone other than Nate Diaz, and I think that probably bodes poorly for Pellegrino's chances to finish him. That being said, I'm taking Kurt Pellegrino by UD and hoping that he doesn't gas out and, basically pull what he did against Nate Diaz and, get submitted really easily. But on paper, he really should win this fight. Mac Danzig, Josh Neer. This is a good fight. This could go both ways, I think. I think the difference will be Neer's size and wrestling ability. I think Neer will take this by UD by being able to take Danzig down and control him. And he's a little bit longer on the feet, has knockout power. I don't think Danzig really does. Danzig may be the faster, more technical striker, but I think Neer, with the reach and the power and the wrestling ability, can take this fight. He looked really good against Nate Diaz, although losing. That being said, this is a key fight for Danzig. I'm surprised they're putting him in through such a stern test after losing to Clay Guida. Because normally they protect the tough winners a little bit, but him and Nate Diaz don't seem to be getting that favor. They really have not protected them in any way, shape, or form. They've actually put them to the wolves. They both fought Clay Guida. Nate Diaz has also fought, Danzig fought Boshek, which was a decent test, although he passed with flying colors on that particular occasion. Diaz has, of course, also fought Alvin Robinson and Kurt Pellegrino. So yeah, these are the first two tough winners that are getting absolutely no protection in their early fights. So that does it for the card. It's a pretty good card. I mean, like I said, the Danzig Neer fight is a good fight. Lozon Stevens has the potential to be a pretty good fight, as does Anthony Johnson and Luigi Faravanti, Matt Riddle, and Steve Bruno, Rushholt, and Miller. The rest, I really don't know how good they're going to be, but we'll see. And it's free. I'm never going to complain about the quality of a free MMA card. So, peace out.